What's up, everyone? How you guys and gals doing? Welcome to the show. The clubs we're talking about today are the Hills Angels, Mongols, and Laraza. Yes, we're going to be talking about them clubs. It's going to be a wild ride, and we're going to be talking about why you shouldn't be listening most of the time. I'd have to say 90% of the time when it comes to news articles.
Ride or die, 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 fly. Know that they ride or die. Cody, what is my guys? Know that they fly. Know that they ride or die. I keep waiting.
Okay, one of the things is really cool is, hey, you guys are awesome sending in all these news stories to me, but I do have to caution you when you do send these articles in, if you want to call it that. I call it, wiping, your behind with it half the time. You got to remember that most of the time these people are not the ones in the club. So when you get an article that tries to tell you that this is the history of the motorcycle club, yeah, it's probably 100% fake because let's be honest, they're not the ones that ever been in the club, and they're just going off of hearsay and they're going off of what the cops say. That's usually the deal with them. And case in point, out of Slash Gear, and this happens to be one of them sites that have tech, cars, everything. And basically what this is clickbait. Okay, because they do not focus solely on motorcycles. Now, one thing that you'll see a lot of channels have been doing is covering this kind of stuff. Man, Biker News has just went woo all over the place because it gets hits for people. But they don't take the time to explain everything to you. No, they go on one of these tirades where, oh, look at what this is supposed to be. And it's funny, if you look at this, it's under cars and motorcycles. Okay, again, this is from Slash Gear, and I'm not going to even give it that much of a look over. This one has to do with the Mongols, and they're one of the big five motorcycle clubs, and you hear all kinds of stuff that comes out of cops and the feds, and these people just pick it apart, and they put these articles in, like I said, they'll copy paste different paragraphs from other sources and make it one big article. Or even worse now is AI, where Grok over on X can make up a whole article for you. Just put a couple keywords in there. The concept of the outlaw is an old one dating back to the medieval England. Those who failed to adhere to the system, be in courts or local lord, would be declared outside the protection of the law. Now, with motorcycle clubs, it's totally different, people. They started off as racing teams, okay? And if they didn't compete in AMA events, next thing you know, they were called the Outlaw Circuit. So right away, it does not have anything to do with medieval England. I guess if you want to go as far as the term outlaw, whatever, it goes into the Old West and stuff like that. Then it goes into the history. That's why I'm not, spending that much time on it. It brings, and you can tell the way that this is all broken up, that it is a paste and clip type of article, if you will. And again, it was probably written by AI, so I'm not going to give it much of a look over. And most of it has to do with the club's criminal past or whatever they want to say. That's the first thing that they're going to bring up. And when they bring up stuff out of the old Wild West and stuff, yeah, you can consider the modern day outlaw to be everywhere back to those days. But when you send me in articles like this, please understand that it's either AI or it's the cops. The history of the Mongols Motorcycle Club explained by a guy who's probably never rode a motorcycle and writes for Slash Gear. Just saying. Let's go on to some good stuff here. Hells Angels. Angels, man. Generous bikers bring festive cheer and presents to children at Hampton Hospital. This is another club that they'll say are a bunch of criminals and stuff, and they don't, I'm surprised it's even in an article about them. And them being said, saying the spirit and generosity of motorcycle club shown through as members of the city's Hells Angels Club brought festive cheer to this hospital, and the members of the Wolverhampton Hells Angels and their support clubs delivered hundreds of toys to New Cross Hospital to be donated to the children's ward. There was a huge selection of toys for individual children and also toys to be kept at the hospital for all the kids to use. The donations were taken over the 14th of December by members of the Hells Angels who have been busy over the last few weeks buying and wrapping the gifts for the event, with the Grinch even making an appearance. That's pretty cool. And there you go, right there, members of the Hells Angels with the Grinch right there. Going to the next one, CentralValley.com. Motorcycle Club donates free bikes to kids in Cochrane. For the third year in a row, Laraza Motorcycle Club has partnered with sponsors and the city to hand out new bikes to kids. Rock and roll, man. Look at all that right there. A lot of bikes. Interview with your Valley or your CentralValley.com. Raza Motorcycle Club President Big Tiny said he and his brothers were happy to once again give back to this community. Look at that little baby right there, all happy and stuff. It's the third year. Big Tiny said they asked this one year, hey, would you guys be interested in, doing this giveaway for the kids? Tiny says a nonprofit, the club was happy to oblige and take over the program that aligned perfectly with the club's community enhancement values. Quote, this is something we do. We do this every year. We're happy to do it, Big Tiny said. A lot of the guys in the club, they grew up the same, little to nothing. We just want kids to know that there's a hope for them. Rock and roll, man. And they also participated in visiting old folks' homes, charity fundraising events, car show benefits, and more. And let's see here. The weekend we have our annual Christmas run. They're going to visit 25 kids throughout Kings and Tulare County. Families in need, and then have an elderly home we're going to visit as well. Rock and roll right there, man. This one out of the prior information publication. Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club surprises member with a new Harley. This out of Oklahoma. Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club surprised one of their members. The member, who is also a pastor at Bartsville Church, has been without a bike for years, but still comes to all the club events. The group said the pastor is truly one of a kind. It was a moment of pure excitement and surprise when his motorcycle club, the Regulators, gifted him a 2006 Harley-Davidson Law Enforcement Edition motorcycle. Brian's bike that he had every time he would go somewhere. He couldn't ride with us because his bike was always breaking down. So we got together as a club and said it's time to do something for him because he does for us. Rock and roll, man, right there. They came out and we got the pastor. Man, he looks like the brick man that always follows Trump around and stuff. That's what he looks like. Look at his jacket right there. Pretty cool stuff right there. Anyway, so make sure that you really check your sources and look through an article and read between the lines of what they're trying to tell you. You'll know if it's a hit piece. You'll know if it's a click piece. You'll know where the author, if you will, is coming from. So remember that. That's important when it comes to this club stuff, because there are so many channels out there now doing this, and they have no want to actually do it right. And I'm sorry, that's BS. Anyway, don't forget to buy my book, Brotherhood and Betrayal, over on Amazon. It's a kick-ass book, man. Everybody else, thanks for supporting the Madhouse Show, man. That's really picking up over on Rumble and X, so we appreciate all the support. Rock on, baby.
Is an in-depth look at the trials and tribulations of street gang and motorcycle club life. This isn't the run-of-the-mill book that doesn't give the goods. This book will go into detail of events that actually happened. All materials in this book have been approved by those involved. There is nothing poetic, nor is there any price worth paying for the life we choose to live on the streets. James Hollywood Machikari, Brotherhood and Betrayal.
Go visit one of the original Biker Lifestyle and Biker News YouTube channels, where you will get in the know on what's happening in the biker scene, biker news, op-eds, and more from me, James Hollywood Machikari. Monday and Thursdays, a new video on topics happening in the scene. Get on over there, get to the channel, and subscribe. Rock on.